You know, some of my favorite projects of all time have come about during the spring and the summer. That's actually one of my favorite times to crochet because you work on a completely different type of project with a completely different type of yarn. And so if you're thinking about putting your hooks down for a little while in the spring and summer, I get it. It's warm, it's nice out. I'm gonna urge you not to because there's so many fun things that you can crochet this time of year that you can take with you wherever you go, that you can crochet outside and not have to have a ton of hot yarn in your lap. And it's a ton of fun. That's what this video is about. I want to share all of my favorite spring projects. Most of these, actually all of these, are free patterns that are available on my website, and I will have them linked in the description below. Just check the bottom of the screen here for the number, and the link will coordinate in the description, so it'll be really easy for you to find them. Crochet bags are one of my favorite things to make if done well. There's a fine line between a really good crochet bag and a really bad crochet bag. If you've ever made one in the past and it got really deformed and saggy and not super great after a while, well that happens with yarn. Sometimes yarn is stretchy and it can droop over time, but there are projects, there are bags out there that you don't have that problem with. This one is the perfect example. This is my simple crochet bag. It's made with macrame cord. I'll be honest, macrame cord does give you a little bit of a hand workout, but it is the sturdiest and strongest material. So if you have a project in mind where you need it to be really durable, in this case a bag that you don't want to sag to the ground, macrame cord is the perfect yarn for the job. Now this project you can work up in a variety of ways. You can use 3 colors like I have here, but you can do a solid color, multiple stripes, 2 stripes. You don't have to have a ton of experience to crochet this bag. Having finished a couple of projects before will really go a long way, but there is a step-by-step tutorial that'll walk you through the entire thing. Now another bag that was incredibly fun for me to make, there's a chance you haven't seen the video for this yet. I haven't really decided when I'm going to publish it, but I just finished it today and I'm over the moon excited about it. This bag uses granny squares and it wraps them around those canvas bags that you've seen at craft stores that are really great for throwing your projects in, but they're also really good for just like car rides, putting snacks in them and putting books in them, carrying with you to and from to work. There's just so many ways that you can use these canvas bags, but they're just kind of plain. But you can wrap them in granny squares or other squares if granny squares aren't your thing. And yeah, this project was a ton of fun. It only took a couple of hours to complete once I already had the granny squares made. But this one is a really fun one that I think you definitely want to try. Now the last bag on my list here is another one that uses granny squares, but it uses a cotton yarn as well, so they're a little bit more rigid and sturdy. But then there's also a liner that I sewed into it. This by far is my favorite crochet bag that I've ever made, and it's more of a purse, I would say, than a bag. I wouldn't like throw tons of stuff in there. Like this is the bag that I would use every day. These handles by far are what make these bags for me. Not that crocheting handles isn't a good thing to do, but yarn has a tendency to stretch over time, and stitches have the tendency to stretch over time. But when you buy these handles, I mean, you can pick these up probably in any craft store. I bought these ones in particular on Amazon. I don't know, they're just really great handles, and I think they look really good on these bags as well. It kind of just, I don't know, takes it up a little level. Now, if speed and ultra portability is really what you're after for the spring, flowers. Flowers are so quick and they're so easy to crochet and they're super cute to add to your projects. You can decorate your house with them. I have actually designed a ton over the years because, as you can see, I'm really excited about crochet flowers. I think they're super cute and fun. So the first one that I think is really great for you to try, there's a 3D element about this one. This one I call the crocodile stitch flower. It's not really the crocodile stitch, but it's very similar. So it comes together in a long flat piece and you roll it up. Just super cute, easy to use, or easy to make rather. And you would use a medium weight yarn for this one, but you could sub for other weights and get different sizes as a result. Along the same lines, using a pattern for like a 3D kind of flower, this 3D crochet flower is also really, really fun to make. Now these ones I crocheted with a variegated yarn, something that had long sweeping colorways. It's a yarn from Red Heart called Unforgettable, and it has just absolutely gorgeous colorways. And when you use a yarn like this for a flower, you get different flowers. Like all of them look completely unique based on where you started and stopped that flower and how the colors worked together. Now the last 3D flower is a rose. This one is also really fun to crochet, really easy too, by the way. This one doesn't seem like it would be a beginner friendly project, but you can crochet this rose as a complete and total beginner. I've got a video for it, I've got the pattern for it, but then you can take it a step further and crochet an entire bouquet of roses. How fun would this be for Mother's Day? Now this flower here is called the popcorn stitch flower. This is one of my probably oldest flower patterns that you'll find on my website, but it's still one of my absolute favorites. You can do so much with this flower. Not only can you add it to your projects, like stitch it directly to a hat, I've also seen it added to ponchos and sweaters and bags, all really cute uses, but you can also turn this into a square and then use that square for other things. I've actually done that to make a pillow, which I don't know that I have a picture of that, but it turned out super cute. I've seen it made in blankets. I've even made a bag like this in the past. That's been a long time. If I can find that photo, I will share it with you as well. But popcorn stitch flower, it's one of those flowers that you can modify to, you know, make it bigger or smaller based on your needs. It's just really cute, really easy, a fun way to learn a new stitch, the popcorn stitch. And I'll have this one linked as well. So we've talked about bags and flowers so far as being two of my favorite project types for the spring. The next one is amigurumi. You can crochet amigurumi all year long and it's a great idea and it's really fun, but I don't know, there's just something about crocheting a cute stuffed animal in the spring. One of my absolute favorites I call Layla. Layla is one of those patterns that's just so much fun to make. It really doesn't take a long time to crochet either. You don't have to have a ton of experience, although with amigurumi projects, it is best to have some experience previously crocheting just because there are some techniques involved that aren't exactly beginner friendly. I definitely don't want to scare you away from crocheting amigurumi if you're brand new, but just know that it's one of those projects that it's good to have a little bit of experience. So Layla is one of my favorite amigurumi projects, but another really good one is this unicorn. I actually made this for my niece for her birthday, and it turned out so adorable. Bernat blanket yarn, you know, the super soft, fleecy, fun stuff that you've probably got in your yarn stash somewhere. That yarn is perfect for this adorable little softie. It just makes it super soft and cuddly, and yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it. Now there's another amigurumi project that's much smaller than the other two, so it's a lot quicker to work up, and you can customize it a little bit. Here I've got it with a pink hat, which is kind of fun for like Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. But yeah, you could easily change this and use it for other seasons just by changing the color of the hat. But this one's super cute. It is a little bit smaller, so it works up faster. Still really easy to crochet. I do believe the pictures here are showing me using Bernat Baby Blanket Tiny, which that yarn, at least to my knowledge right now, is no longer available, but you can substitute with another medium weight yarn. So we've talked flowers and bags and amigurumi, and now my favorite category of all as far as crochet project goes, home decor. You can just really brighten up a space and make everything feels so much homier by just having a yarn project in it. You know what I mean? So the first one I want to mention here is on the practical side of things, a kitchen scrubby. I actually have a pattern that has two varieties of scrubby. You have a pot scrubby here that's, you know, good for scrubbing your pots and pans, also good for your dishes. But then there's a scrubby cloth as well. This one's really good for like cups and small spaces that you have to clean. These scrubbies really changed things for me. I know that sounds silly, but you know, like the sponges that you have that you constantly have to replace because they get stinky and gross after a while. We just don't have to deal with that anymore. We can crochet our scrubbies and they're actually better. They work so much better than the sponges that you might already have sitting around. And I'm not really sure if the yarn recommends that you do this, but I have thrown this pot scrubby in the dishwasher multiple times, and it's still fine. We're still talking about scrubbies here, but these I think are really great for your face. These really have just changed things for me as far as my skincare routine. I regularly use them in the evening with a little bit of face wash, just try to keep it plain and simple. They're really soft on my skin. They're really easy to care for. I can toss them in the washer and it's no big deal. All right, this is another one of my absolute favorite makes of all time. It's been a couple of years since I've crocheted this one, but this farmhouse table runner is just absolutely adorable in our dining room. Now this project uses a really, really thin yarn, so it does take a little bit of time to crochet, but it's super lightweight and really easy to crochet, so it goes really fast. Now along the same lines, and going back to macrame cord, placemats, but specifically crocheting them with macrame cord. I tell you what, like crocheting with macrame cord, it really is a great material to use when you need something thick and durable and that has a lot of structure. And that's what you get with these placemats. These ones lay perfectly flat, which I really, really love. And they come together really quick, so you can crochet several of them to have at each one of your seats at your table. And they're just really great. I do have a tutorial for this one that'll walk you through the process step by step, and I'll have that linked below. Now going back to the kitchen, the other thing I really love to crochet in the spring is hand towels. I know, and it's not something that I really thought of or really appreciated until here in the last few years. I always love having a towel hanging in the kitchen that's kind of festive for the season. And instead of buying them, I've been crocheting them a lot more lately because you can get super creative with your color combinations, use up some of the cotton yarn that you have in your stash. So this one here uses the chevron stitch, and it's really, really great for a kitchen towel because it has a lot of texture. And that texture really soaks up a lot of the moisture if you're using it to dry your hands or if you're using it to soak up a spill. This one's really great and it works up pretty fast too. Now the other home decor item that I really love to crochet in the spring is baskets. And these are some of the most fun projects, honestly. So I've been updating one of my basket patterns, and I had my sister-in-law help me crochet these baskets. And she told me that this was by far one of the funnest projects that she has made in a long time. These come together so quick and they're so adorable, and it's just, you get instant gratification out of this one. There's another one here that is real similar to the others, but there's some fun fringe on this. I think that one is really adorable. And then there's a much bigger one that you can actually use to hold a ton of your yarn. So if you're looking for a way to organize your yarn stash, crochet this out of t-shirt yarn and it'll hold tons and tons of yarn. Now, in addition to those projects that I like to crochet in the summer, some of the other things that aren't necessarily projects but can be turned into projects are squares, specifically granny squares, solid granny squares, granny hexagons. Pretty much any little motif is super fun to crochet in the spring. So I really love crocheting these because I can throw them in my purse. I can crochet them whenever I have a spare few minutes here and there. I don't have a ton of yarn sitting on my lap. But then at the end of the season, I have a stack of granny squares that I can later join and turn into other projects that might then be useful for that season, like a blanket or a cardigan. I would love to hear what you crochet in the spring. That'll certainly inspire me to help come up with new projects for you and I to crochet together in the spring, but I think it'll also help others in the community as well. So the pattern for all of these projects can be found completely free on my website, but if you do like to have a copy in hand to print or save to your device, or if you just want to support the channel, B.Hooked.com is our shop for all of our PDF patterns. And actually we have a few pattern bundles that are specifically for spring projects. We've got an amigurumi pattern bundle, which includes 5 patterns. We've got a flower pattern bundle, which includes 9 patterns. And then we have a spring pattern bundle that includes 7 patterns. And if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, we do have some of these available in our shop, as well as some classic B.Hooked tees. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for watching. Happy hooking, and I'll see you in the next one.